it's a fun thing for us today to have this reunion.
Jared, first of all, there's a lot of folks that know your story, and there's a lot of folks who don't know your story. And I think your story is intriguing for a lot of reasons, man, to where you started, to where you're at now. But just tell the folks, again, folks, we were Jared Tomich, former Nebraska defensive end. Jared, tell the folks how you got to Nebraska originally.
So I took a little different path. I didn't have any offers out of high school. I didn't have the grades to even do college. So I was, really, there was no football, in my, when I was a senior, there was nothing that was going to be coming up for me. Coach McBride, who grew up in South Chicago and was from my area, actually got the film sent to him from a strength coach from a local school out by me. And that kind of got the ball rolling. Coach Osborne and Coach McBride had me come out. They met me. They liked me. They said that they saw something on film, but because of my grades and everything else, back then there was a program called Prop 48.
Right.
And so they said, you can come here in Prop 48, and then, which means you can't do anything but go to school for your first year, and you could walk on after that. And maybe there's something there, maybe there isn't. So that started my journey. That was the best. I went back home and talked with mom and dad, and figured maybe we could pull this for a year or two, financially and everything else. And so that's kind of what got me out here. And then everything started clicking. The school put a ton into me with my learning disabilities, and I went from being a CD student to graduated in 4.5 years in the dean's list, and understanding how I learn, and then in that same time we had an incredible career football wise, and just really was the biggest growth of in my life, in those years here.
Craig, what's up, man? Craig says, Tomich, oh, hell yes. He goes, awesome reason for Prop 48. Love that guy. Craig, we love you too, man. I know that Jared feels the love as well. Jared, when you got to Nebraska, what was your first impression? Because like I said, you dealt with the academic stuff, which first of all, a lot of folks deal with that aspect of it,
right.
But you didn't let that become a burden. You looked at it as like, okay, we're going to do this.
Kept fighting through it. And figuring it out, and just like anything else, and then it, like I said, when it started clicking, and it was such a big important thing for Coach Osborne. Our education was huge, and I tell the story now when I go speak, and I say, when I got drafted, Coach Osborne was happy for me, and and he said, "Wow, that's great." And just remember, it's going to be a short career. Yeah. Thanks, Coach. He didn't know if that was going to be a 2-year tenure. Even a 10-year career is really short in your span. But when I graduated, and that was the pin in his cap. That's when he was excited.
Right.
That was like a really big deal. So yeah, in Coach Osborne's way of teaching, it was, and that was my big thing, was to make sure that I completed that before I left. I had that opportunity to leave, kind of like Jason Grant, some of those guys too.
Right.
We all had those opportunities to leave when we were juniors.
Right.
And we just didn't, no way.
Okay, then that brings me up, and Nick and Raph, you guys chime in as well. Why did you stay? You, JP, Grant, you guys both could have made millions of dollars leaving out early. Why did you stay?
Because there's what the team, the university, the coaches, what they did, even, and then also the players. When you're not playing for yourself, when you're playing for something bigger than yourself, you're playing for all your brothers, and you're a part of something like that. There was no question. I know those two guys never doubted it, because I had, I never doubted it my junior season. Said I'll be back. It never wavered. And then when those two, they went into coach's office right after their junior years, which was my senior year, they never wavered. They said, we'll be back and we're going to win it again. And then they sure did. And so that was, and when you're given such an opportunity, the biggest thing that I could would do was to stay and continue my career here. And whatever comes in after that, that's how it's what's meant for us.
So they always talk about relationships matter. So your old defense coordinator, Coach McBride. Whatever happened to him? Have you seen him lately?
Yes, I see him. We see him quite often. So we're right outside in Northwest Indiana. We're kind of where I grew up, is where my family and I are now. Coach McBride lives about an hour and a half from us in Michigan, and so we see him all the time. Miss Debbie and Coach, and they're kind of like grandparents to my kids, which is just incredible. Coach will be 85 this year. Miss Debbie will be 83. And so they don't get the opportunity to come out much. So I came in Tuesday with them, drove them down and for the game and for the weekend. So they're super excited to be in town. We were at practice yesterday. Coach Rule invited us to come out there and watch practice, which is like, that is just, Coach McBride just beaming.
I'm sure
when he's out there, he just absolutely
in his element.
Yeah, loves it. And it's crazy because he knows all these kids that are out there playing, and he's shaking their hands, and he knows their numbers, knows their name, knows where they're from.
Oh, wow.
And I don't even, I'm like,
and he's 85.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was talking to some of the kids, some of the black shirts, and, about, the one D lineman that's from Arizona. And and I'm just going, how does he retain,
it's giving me goosebumps right now, man. It's giving me goosebumps. Jared, and I can still, I can hear Coach Osborne right now. Yeah, the career's gonna be short. Get that degree.
Make sure you do something else.
Jared, let me ask you this, man. I'm just recording up here too, man. Let me know when you went in yesterday. You guys went to the practice yesterday. I dropped the phone on there. I was trying.
Mic drop.
I was trying to get our good footage, and there I go dropping it.
Yeah. AD can multitask, that's for sure, as we can see. I'll ask this. Okay, so from practice yesterday, right? Obviously, without divulging and sharing too much information, I guess just overall thoughts on how this staff operates on a daily basis. Now you've seen firsthand.
Yeah, and this, we were back last year for practice too, and to meet Coach, Coach Rule and the whole staff, which they are incredible. This is by far the most gracious and humble staff that we've had here in a long time, and they being there, and to see how they treat Coach McBride, and Coach Osborne,
Tomich,
is just incredible.
Yeah,
and it's and I'm thrilled with that. They've and this is the second time now that we've done that, and then they and then like last time we were here, Coach, which this was amazing. Coach stopped middle of practice, has every player come up and shake and hug Coach McBride's hand and myself.
Oh, wow.
And how important time is at practice. I mean, that's gold. And for him to do that in every single, we're standing there, and all of a sudden there's a line of players next to us, and Coach McBride and I go, what's going on?
That's wild.
Dude, that seriously it's making me emotional
awesome.
just thinking about
and,
that.
And
man.
every player, handshake, hug, name. I mean, it was incredible, because that's just not there anymore.
See, Jared, okay, you bring up a point, man. I was sharing this with a reporter yesterday, was talking to my buddy Aaron Bonderson. He's with a different network, but nevertheless, Jared, we played for Nebraska, not at Nebraska.
Correct.
And by Coach Rule doing what he did, that sign of respect for you and Coach McBride, as well as Coach Osborne, I always say this: if you don't share your history of your family, you forget it.
Right.
When you walk down that hallway and they see your face and all the guys that came before you, if they don't know you, if Coach Rule doesn't take that time out to say, this is who this is, that guy you walk by every time you're going in and out of that locker room, that weight room, etc., you don't appreciate it.
No, because you don't know.
You don't know.
Right.
You don't respect your history and your heritage if you don't know it. So let me ask you this. You mentioned that Coach Osborne shared some words yesterday with the team.
He did.
And about the rivalry and about Colorado. Share with us a few things that Coach Osborne said. Man.
It was great. And Coach Osborne, he spoke for probably about a half an hour to the team after practice. It was a great speech. It was a little bit of a history lesson in his way that he can only deliver, and to where it's not, it's just about who we were, the adversities we went through in 94, 95,
right.
and even 97, and touching base on that he had 4 great points, with what did it take for us to get there? It was good players, which they have right now, good coaches, which they have right now, a good off-season program because you win championships in the summer,
We always
right?
big. Oh my
Right.
goodness, man! You about to have me go crazy right
And
now, JT.
And even told the story about Florida State when we put the 217 on the all
the
summer
time,
long,
all summer long,
all
summer long.
to stay focused. And then his last point was resolve. Do you have the resolve? Will you work harder than everybody else? Will you put more time in than everybody else? Will you go the extra mile? That's what wins you championships and games, and in one step at a time.
Bones, good morning to you. He goes, that's an awesome story. That's just proof that traditions don't have to be buried. They can be tweaked, but they don't have to be buried. That was awesome. Bones, appreciate you, man. Go ahead, Nick. Nick or Raph.
So I've been saying this since the beginning of the week. I think tomorrow's game comes down to Nebraska's defensive line. I think if you put pressure on them with 3 to 4 guys, they're able to back some guys up, clog the passing zones. When you're down there watching that defensive line, you think they're ready to go? They have ready to go that task tomorrow night?
They look like it. I mean, it's a big set of kids.
Oh, dude,
Golly.
Big Ty, Nash.
I don't know if I'd play. These kids are giants, and as they fill up a whole doorway, and there's no room for light around the doorway. It's just, and I'm just going, man, I'm glad I played when I did, because the kids are just, with the science and nutrition and everything, the kids are just, bigger and bigger and just, more athletic, and so they're impressive. They're super impressive, and so yeah, they get after it. They get some confidence, and that goes a long ways. We can start the game and they get some confidence rolling. Yeah,
Jared, the big bro, Kenny Wilhite. Good morning, Kenny Wilhite. He says, tell the big fella hi.
Morning, Kenny. But yeah, it is. But yeah, it's been great to be back in town, and it's just exciting.
Jared, I want to say this before we go to our break, man. We'll let you get going on. You got family coming in town shortly, but to the big bro, Kenny Wilhite, there was a clip that Kenny sent me. It was it's him just smacking a receiver from Colorado, and Kenny, and forgive me, big bro, if I get your height wrong, but Kenny was about 5'8", maybe 5'9", give or take.
Let's go 5'9".
5'9". Say 5'9".
Kenny's like,
Kenny's texting. That's 6 foot.
Yeah, but Kenny was methodical, and first of all, he was quicker than the cat, and his football IQ was stupid insane, and still is. Those guys, what does it mean? It's Colorado week. Because Jerry, you remember this, because you weren't on a scout team like a career like I was, but you remember how the whole intensity kicked up that week.
Yep.
And Coach McBride, I'll never forget this, JT. We came out one time in black tights. We were playing Colorado, and we cut out some. Remember that?
Yep.
Remember
Oh yeah. Put the stickers on our helmets. Yep.
And remember how the black shirts, they were so pissed at us, and Coach McBride loved it.
He loved it. He loved stoking that fire.
He loved stoking that fire.
And he's a motivator, and that's one of the things he does best.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
What does Colorado week mean, though?
It's when I look back and being from out of state, I didn't learn the culture till I got here. Then in Colorado, we were always their rival.
Bingo.
I don't think they were our rival.
No,
they were a game. They were a tough game, but they were nasty.
Yep.
They were rude.
Yep.
So those were things that played more into us than the rival thing. Oklahoma was our rival.
Exactly.
And I can remember even when we went into the Big 12 and I was a senior, Coach Osborne said I could, but I was very vocal about the traditions that were going to be lost. And how I was not happy about where we were heading and what was going on with the conferences and things like that. But that was our rival.
Right.
It was a rival for decades.
Always will be.
Yeah.
In our hearts, always will be.
And so Colorado, we were in their heads in that regard. But like we were saying earlier, we need to worry about us.
That's
not
right.
about them.
That's right.
They're another team. It's gonna be good, but we just need to put it to them and just reestablish all that.
Yep.
Last question for you, Jerry, before we let you get out of here. Where are you living now? And tell us about your farm.
Sure.
I know where you're living, but we keep up with each other all the time on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. But tell us what you're doing now, where you're living at now.
Back home in Indiana, northwest Indiana, just a little bit above Lafayette. So I got to kind of put up with the Purdue thing. But we have a hobby farm back there where I mainly raise Scottish Highland cattle, which are the big horn, big fuzzy cattle, as we call it. It's been about 10 years now. I love it. It's a great hobby. We work in the ag world with my wife's company, so it's just kind of fitting to have a small farm and kind of and do all that. But we ship these guys all around the United States, and it's fun. So it's my that's my workout. That's my I go out there and I can talk to them, and most of the time nobody talks back too much.
Hey, AD, I think Louis needs a friend.
Yeah. Well, his cattle are a little furry too. And you see, Jared, the thing I appreciate you about Big Bro is that every time when you post pictures, man, the thing I appreciate about seeing all my former teammates at peace.
Oh yeah,
You're in your element, man.
Yeah.
I see with your cattle out there on your acres, and you're just life is good.
Life
man.
is good. Like got a wonderful wife and 2 boys, and just couldn't be happier.
I love it, man.
Awesome.
Folks, former Nebraska defensive end Jared Tomich visited us this morning. Was graciously stopped by and hung out with us this morning. So, Jared, bro, I love you. I appreciate
Love
you,
you.
man.
Yeah,
And
thank
go Big
you.
Red, baby.
Go Big Red. We're looking forward to
I
it.
guess prediction for tomorrow.
Yes.
What are we thinking?
Pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I think they're going to keep it close, and that the whole it's going to be it's going to be a fight from from the first minute to the last, and like I said, but I think it's going to be in the lines. I think where the line can take control. I think we're good.
Big B says, good morning to you, Big B. He goes, I love watching him play. Absolute beast of a human with 1,000 miles per hour motor. Todd Lincoln says, goosebumps right now, man.
Good. Here we go.
Folks, Jared Thomas, former Nebraska defensive end, stopped by and graced the this time. We'll be back because we're opening the phone lines up for you as well as text messages. Ticket 9.7.